Most people think they know England, Big Ben, red buses, rainy skies, and the royal family. But what if I told you that version is only scratching the surface? Behind the tourist postcards lies a side of England that almost no one talks about. Hidden villages frozen in time, landscapes so surreal they feel painted, and traditions so rich they've outlived empires. And yes, once you see this side, there's no going back. The truth, you've been missing the best part. These are places untouched by chaos, where the streets don't hum, they whisper. While the world rushes, these towns linger. You won't find these gems on your average travel guide, and that's exactly the point. What you're about to discover might shift the way you see not just England, but the way you want to travel forever. So if you thought you'd seen it all, think again. A mystical land of time and tradition. There's something quietly magical about England that you don't just see, you feel. It's in the morning mist that rolls over green hills, wrapping ancient castles like a protective cloak of memory. Every sip of hot tea on a rainy day feels like a hug from centuries past. And the salty breeze that sweeps in from the coast, it smells like adventure and royal secrets. England travel isn't just about places, it's about stepping into a living tale. In the British countryside, time doesn't rush. It strolls hand in hand with tradition. You'll see it in the way locals still pause for afternoon tea as if it were sacred ritual, because honestly it is. Picture this, a cozy tea room in the Cotswolds, fresh scones with clotted cream, and an elderly couple chatting about how the world has changed, but tea has stayed the same. That's not just charming, it's powerful. Historic landmarks here aren't tucked away, they confront you with their grandeur. From the Tower of London to Dover Castle, these aren't dusty relics. They're storytellers. Want to feel like you're in a movie? Walk through a foggy moor toward a medieval ruin and let your imagination go wild. It's not just scenic destinations, it's sensory immersion that sticks with you. Dancing with the Weather England's weather has a personality of its own. Moody, unpredictable, and oddly charming. Locals joke that you can experience all 4 seasons in a single day, and they're not exaggerating. You might wake up to sunshine, need an umbrella by noon, and see fog drifting in by sunset. This constant shift isn't an inconvenience. It's an invitation to be present. Travel tips for navigating England's climate. Layer up and don't fight it, embrace it. A foldable umbrella and waterproof boots are essentials. Yes, but so is your curiosity. That drizzle might lead to the best tea break of your life. That sudden sunbeam through cathedral windows. It'll hit your soul. The British countryside becomes an ever-changing canvas. One moment, green hills glow under soft light, and the next, mist cloaks them in mystery. Rain brings out the earthy scent of cobblestone villages, while wind animates fields of wildflowers like nature's symphony. And perhaps that's the secret charm of England travel. It's not about controlling the moment, it's about experiencing it. Echoes of empire and modernity, London doesn't just blend eras, it fuses them. One second you're staring at Big Ben, and the next, you're walking into a sleek underground station that feels like a scene from the future. The past isn't hidden, it's reframed. Red telephone boxes, they've become tiny libraries. Classic black cabs, now they're electric. Historic landmarks here don't fade, they evolve into cultural icons. The Tower Bridge still stands tall, but now selfies float above it from drones. The underground isn't just a transit system, it's a time machine. You could exit one station near a Victorian townhouse and step out of another beside a skyscraper. Museums like the British Museum or the V&A aren't only places to stare at artifacts, they're playgrounds for curiosity. Want to see the Rosetta Stone? Then grab coffee by a modern sculpture. England lets you time travel without needing a passport. Culture isn't static, it's fluid, like the conversations happening over a pint in a place where stories and flavors collide. The pub culture and literary heritage step inside a pub in England, and you're not just grabbing a drink, you're entering a living room for the entire town. These places aren't just about ale and crisps, they're about connection, storytelling, and warm laughter under timber beams. Some of them are older than many countries, and the moment you walk in, you feel it. Locals meet in pubs like pilgrims gathering for community rituals. It's where grandfathers share football scores, and teenagers nervously sip their first pint. If you're traveling solo, a pub is where strangers become guides, and a random conversation turns into a recommendation for the best fish and chips in town. But England doesn't stop at beer, it drinks in stories too. Literary giants like Shakespeare, Dickens, Austen, and Tolkien once walked these same streets, writing worlds that still grip us today. Want to dive deeper, visit the British Library, or explore the Globe Theatre in London for a taste of Shakespearean drama? This is where fiction was born and still lingers in every bookstore window. Countryside, cheddar, and football. Outside the cities, England unfolds like a pastoral painting, except it smells like aged cheese and freshly cut grass. The British countryside is more than photogenic, it's a feast. Farmers markets brim with local flavors, but nothing says English heritage like authentic cheddar cheese, aged in the caves of Somerset. This isn't your average cheese stick, it's history you can taste. There's a rhythm in the fields that city life can't replicate. Cows grazing under gray skies, sheep blocking single-lane roads, locals discussing weather like it's a sport, because it is. Want to experience it? Visit a local farm shop in Gloucestershire or attend a cheese rolling festival. Yes, that's a thing, and it's wildly entertaining. Speaking of sports, England is the birthplace of football, what the world calls soccer. And while modern stadiums like Wembley roar with global fans, the soul of the sport lives in muddy village pitches where kids play with sweaters for goalposts. If you love football, this is sacred ground. Oxford and Cambridge. Oxford and Cambridge aren't just universities, they're living museums of brilliance. You walk on cobblestones where Einstein gave lectures, under arches that have echoed Shakespearean verses. Every building seems to hum with intellectual electricity. These cities don't just teach, they inspire. The Gothic chapels and ivy-covered halls aren't just for show, they're symbols of a legacy that continues today. Cambridge's King's College Chapel isn't just architecture, it's an experience. When the choir sings, the stone vibrates. Want a travel guide for the curious? Walk into the Bodleian Library and ask about the oldest book they've got, or stroll the backs of Cambridge where punting boats float under stone bridges while students quote poetry. These cities aren't stuck in the past. They pulse with student activism, innovation, and international flavor. You'll hear debates in 5 languages on one street and sip espresso beside Nobel laureates. Iconic cities: London, Liverpool, Manchester, and Birmingham. These cities don't just sit on maps, they leave marks on souls. London is the headliner, with its skyline dotted by cranes and spires. But Liverpool, with its Beatles heritage and maritime pulse, steals hearts in quieter ways. The dockyards hum with stories, the streets dance to rock and soul. Manchester is a city that rebuilt itself with swagger. Once a factory town, now a creative capital, it blends football fever with indie music and street art. Walk down the northern quarter and you'll see murals that speak louder than headlines. Birmingham surprises with canals, curries, and a cultural mix that feels like the future wrapped in brick. Each city holds its own brand of magic. In London, you can watch Shakespeare in the Globe, then hop on the tube to a rooftop jazz bar. In Liverpool, you'll find a vintage bookstore beside a punk rock cafe. Manchester lets you dive into science museums by day and dance clubs by night. Birmingham gives you a curry that'll change your life and a conversation that'll change your perspective. Scenic wonders: Lake District, Jurassic Coast, Cornwall. The Lake District is where poets go to breathe, and honestly, you will too. With glassy lakes, rolling hills, and ancient woods, it's nature's therapy session. This is Wordsworth's home turf, and every footpath feels like a verse. Want serenity? Walk Grasmere at sunrise. Want drama? Climb Scafell Pike, England's tallest peak, and feel the world fall silent beneath your boots. Further south, the Jurassic Coast isn't just a beach, it's a time portal. Each colorful cliff holds fossils that date back millions of years. You can literally walk on history here. Best places to visit: try Lulworth Cove or Durdle Door. Just don't forget your camera and your sense of wonder. Then there's Cornwall, a region that feels plucked from folklore. With its dramatic cliffs, turquoise waters, and fishing villages like St. Ives and Mousehole, it's both peaceful and powerful. Artists flock here for the light, surfers for the waves, and old souls for the tales. And the Cornish pasty? It's comfort food for the wandering spirit. Charming villages: Bibury, Castlecombe, Clovelly, and Polperro Bibury looks like someone asked a painter to dream up the perfect English village, and then built it. Arlington Row, with its stone cottages and blooming gardens, is the kind of place where time politely paused. The air smells like lavender and fresh rain. Ducks paddle through gentle brooks as if auditioning for a postcard. Castlecombe, often called the prettiest village in England, wears its age like a badge of honor. And Polperro? It's a fishing village with a twist. Narrow lanes, artist studios, and harbors that reflect golden light at dusk. These English villages don't shout, they whisper. And if you slow down enough to listen, they'll tell you stories older than the crown, deeper than the sea. So now the question is, are you gonna keep dreaming about discovering magical places, or are you finally going to step into the story yourself? Because these hidden gems of England aren't just beautiful, they're transformational. And the truth is, the biggest change won't be the places you see, it'll be how you feel after seeing them. Calmer, wiser, more alive. Which of these villages spoke to your soul the most? Could you see yourself walking those cobbled lanes, sipping tea by the sea, or chasing sunsets along the Jurassic coast? Be honest. When was the last time you truly disconnected to reconnect? Maybe it's time to slow down and let England's charm do the talking. If this journey opened your eyes, imagine what else is out there waiting for you. This is just the beginning. The world is full of overlooked beauty, and now you know exactly where to look. So what are you waiting for? Which destination is calling your name next? Hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and let's keep exploring together. Because if you loved what you saw today, trust me, there's so much more to come. You just need to be here for it.